It is so hard sometimes to make these videos when the world is literally, I feel like the world has gone mad. But in the midst of all this madness, I decided that the best way for me to kind of refocus and take a little mental vacation from it is to make this video. And so what I decided to do was talk about my weight gain story. And I think this is good because this is going to be like, okay, girl, we in this together, you and me. You struggling right now, that's me. And I just need to remind myself of how I got to the place where I was 228 pounds. So here's the story. So, as I said before, I had the gastric sleeve surgery on May 4th. No, I'm crazy. March 4th, 2020. That seems like so long. That's like pre-Rona, pre-protest. That's pre-Rona again. That's pre-just everything. Pre-shutdown, pre-ghost town, toilet paper shortage. Oh, my. It seems like a world to go. All right. So, on that fine day, I had the gastric sleeve surgery. I was 228. I'm from Vegas, as you know. I got my surgery done here locally with a bariatric surgeon by the name of Sean Suda. Shout out Dr. Suda. He was amazing. He's at New Sleeve. I'll put the description below. He has great prices. He is very much fair, and he's fast. As you know, I don't have children. I'm a dog mom. I've lived in Vegas, but I've lived in plenty of other places as an adult as well. So that's me. As a kid, and oh, by the way, I am going to try to put like pictures and stuff like right here, like real cute pictures of me and everything. Just as I kind of go through this. So I was always a healthy kid. Wasn't too skinny, wasn't too fat, always had fun, loved to play outside, always very busy, super picky eater. I still am today. And so that was the case between the ages like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14. And then I remember between the ages of maybe 15 and maybe 17, I put on a little bit. Dorms, they were working out. So I started working out, lost a little weight, whatever. I think I got down to like 129, 130 or something crazy. Who knows? I had a great metabolism, who knows? Anyway, from there, after my first year of college, I moved back to Vegas from New York. In New York, I was there during the September 11th attacks. And that was very traumatic, but I don't think anything changed with my eating habits or anything at that time. After that, I moved back to Vegas, but I moved out on my own. I didn't want to stay with my family. I was 18 years old. I wanted to live on my own, even if it was in the hood. So I had this like little studio apartment, whatever. But I was going to the gym. I was working 2 jobs. I was going to work. I was happy. I was self-sufficient. That's all I've ever wanted to be. And I think around the time that I actually graduated from college, I was actually still 20. I was still 20 and I got up to 150 pounds, but I was felt like 150. I was like low carbing it. I was working out. I was, you know, it was great. And then after that, so I was 20. So then by the time I was 21, 22, I think I moved to LA. by that time I had put on, I don't know, maybe another 10 pounds or something, not big. But of course I was in LA, living the LA lifestyle. And I thought I was humongous, because 150 is humongous in LA. You can try to say it's not, but it really is. It's not humongous anywhere else but LA, but I digress. So I went to LA, got super like, I don't want to say superficial, but I just became more aware of things. And people were always telling me to like, even just everyday people, you know, in LA, people will wear a freaking full face of makeup, hair did, nails did, have your like Louis V like purse on up there in the Walmart with like 5-inch stilettos. I'm from Vegas. It's almost like being from a farm sometimes. And I just didn't understand it. Everybody's always telling me, oh, you need to be more sexy, more sexy, more sexy, more sexy. I'm like, what? I don't know. How sexy am I supposed to be to pump gas? I don't get it. Anyway. So, so then I think I was at my job or something, and I was working this really stressful job, and I was project manager, and I think they had some sort of weight loss challenge or something. I was like, oh, let me get on that. And then so I think I went from like 155 down to 135. And it took me like 2 or 3 months, and I went down to 135. Absolutely loved it. I think I used Weight Watchers, the old point system that time. The old point system that time. And then I was just like running with my friend on the beach after work, or maybe I would go to the hills over there in like Ladera Heights and just run up and down those hills or whatnot. It's just, I don't know what it was. I was just feeling insecure, and I felt like all the other girls were prettier than me. Just all that superficial nonsense that comes with living. I don't know. Once I started my master's degree, I will say that is when like the cheese fell off the cracker. Like all of a sudden I'm eating late, I'm drinking more. I also had bought a house with a pool, so then I was by the pool more, drinking beer, you know. I was doing the most. So then from there, I had put on a little bit more weight. I was probably about 150 by then, but I was still, you know, feeling myself. I was good. And then the following year, I was still in love with the same guy. And then tragically, he just passed away. He passed away just out of the clear blue sky, passed away. So, I was so in love with this man. I feel like I went temporarily insane around the time he passed away, because he was 28. I think I was like 26. And it was just, he died at the gym on the basketball court. He was a super health nut, everything, you know, just had a heart attack and died. It was just so terrible. And from there, that cheese was sliding, but then it just like, it like fell off the cheese. It definitely fell off the cheese. And then from there, what happened? Oh yeah, so then I went temporarily insane. I could not remember anything. I was crying all the time. I was drinking a lot of wine, I think. Because I was, you know, through most of my 20s, I really wasn't that big of a drinker. But then I think, because that was now 10 years ago, that was 2010. That's when I remember really, like, I don't know, something like that. And I was like, I'm moving. I sold everything, sold the house, sold the car, everything, just me and my 2 dogs. We gonna go across the country, and I am going to move to New York with no job, and I'm just gonna figure it out. So by that time I was probably around like 155 or so. And then while I was in New York, for whatever reason, or even while that time I was transitioning, like I was leaving Vegas, but I hadn't gotten to New York yet or whatever, I think I put on another 20 pounds or so. And then when I got to New York and everything, and I got hired at NYU, and then it just seemed like something everybody was doing there. But I already had a master's degree, so I kind of felt left out. But I was like, well, if I can get in, then it's free. So I applied, everything, got in. I started working on the second one, so I didn't feel left out. Anyway, but that was just more weight gain, because because when you're working full time during the day, and then when you get home, you get to stress over your research and your papers and your responses and what your professor said, and oh, I need to talk to you. You did this wrong. You did that wrong. You need to redo this. You need to do your thesis on this. You need to blah blah blah, and it is just like stress upon stress upon stress. So, I kept doing that. Because I don't know, that's how I deal with things. I think I was addicted to the stress of school. I don't know. So I kept putting on weight. And then I came back to Vegas because it was just overall, just the cost of living was cheaper. I knew that I could just start over. I'd had enough of New York. I had enough of the struggle, honey. If you can make it there, good on you, but I ain't doing it. And then I got back to Vegas, and then I started working, I started teaching, and then while I was teaching, I was also traveling on the weekends. And when I was teaching, I was also like a college advisor. When I was at NYU, I was in financial aid, but then I was a college advisor for a high school here. And once again, just eating badly, eating what the kids eat, hanging out with them, taking them on weekend trips to colleges, and still doing a lot of hours. And so just really not making the time to take care of myself or work out or anything. So I think by this time it was like, woo. And then I think I was maybe 30, and then I tried to go back on the depot shop, like birth control. And I think within 3 months, I had put on 25 pounds. It was insatiable, crazy appetite, craziness. I've never experienced like anything like that in my life. And of course, I did like 1 or 2 rounds of depot, and I was like, I'm good. I don't need to be that big. Now, I said I wanted baby repellent. I didn't want you to make me unsexable. Like, that was not what I wanted you to do. I didn't say, oh, make me big as a house. Like, that's not the tactic I wanted to use. I would still want to be sexy, but just have a little baby repellent. But moving on. Take that back. One thing that I had always wanted to do was to be a foster parent. So I knew I couldn't. I had started going to foster parenting classes in New York City, but then once it became completely obvious to me that I was never going to be able to afford a big enough space to get qualified to be a foster parent, that was one of the things I was really looking at once I got back to Vegas, that I was going to be able to move on. No more roommates, no more, none of that stuff. So by the time I got back, I decided to be a foster parent. Well, I decided to be a therapeutic foster parent. So a therapeutic foster parent means that you take on kids that have high needs. So anything from ADHD to hearing loss to MDD, ODD, Pika, any of those things that just make a child just need more attention. So I went and I did that. Well, I did it as a single parent, foster parent. I'm working during the day, but I'm also going to crisis family therapy sessions once a month. I'm also making sure that child gets to all their behavioral therapy. I'm making sure that child gets to school, gets fed, does their homework, gets to see their parents, still try to let them be a kid, and just all of these things. I mean, and then just learning the kid, learning what they like to eat, what they like to watch. And I mean, it can be busy, extremely busy. I did ages 5 to 12. I usually had boys. I usually had boys, and woo boy, I mean, they were a handful. But like I said, I did have some really sweet kids too. But during that time, I had had a couple of placements that were super tough. Like not sleeping, night terrors, screaming all night, for days on end, in and out of the hospital, you know, spending the night in the hospital beds, just sleeping in chairs. Like, it was just a mess. And then still having to go to work the next day and try to function, you know, it was just a lot. And so I put on a lot of weight. I continued to put on weight. Full academy. Now that I've been in this job for about 4 years now, I know that other places don't do that. Who would have thunk? I had to go through everything, all the laws, all the training, de-escalation, critical, you know, situation, just all of those things. But it was also very in your face. They're gonna tell you they're gonna do this. It's gonna be your fault if they get shot. You know, it was just, it was a lot. So during that time, so during my academy time and my floor training, or we call field training or what have you, because I think that whole process took 18 months or something. I was a hot mess. I was so anxiety ridden and already seeing a therapist, and it was just a lot. So I put on some more weight. I put on some more. I was probably 205, 210, getting up there. And then over each year, I just kept putting on maybe another 5 pounds each year. And then now we got to the point where I was at 228. Now, before this time that I got to 228, the last diet I tried was Noom. Noom was just too much for me. It was so much work, like at home. I know it sounds crazy because they say it's only supposed to take like 20 minutes a day. But it was just, I just got behind on my homework. Like, I felt like I was in school again, and I was already effing up, and I'm just like, oh, my assignment's gonna be late. Because they want to, you know, it's cognitive therapy. So they're trying to get you to reflect on things, type it in, go back and forth, you know, and I just couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up. It was just too much. Before that, I tried Weight Watchers the second time with like this new point system they have, and having the zero, you know, having 0 point foods and all of that, but it didn't work out. I don't like the points. It's like things that used to be 3 points are now 7 points, because then they've taken all the points you would have eaten somewhere else, and now they've piled them all on the bad food. So like the bad food is extra bad, and Jesus. Before that, I've tried the Atkins, keto, low carb. All of that drove me mentally insane. I didn't just have a keto flu. I would just have a keto full on nervous breakdown each time I attempted it. That was no good. I'm not a big meat eater. I never have been. And so all of that was really tough for me. I tried to do a low calorie, you know, just reducing my calories, more of, you know, just a lower fat diet. That didn't work just because of my stress levels at work. I have these insatiable cravings that now I know it's due to the cortisol levels being increased when I have stress. It loves carbohydrates. So that's why it burns through all your carbohydrates, and then it's making you take in more to deal with those stress levels. Stress. Of course, I was still drinking. Because I do enjoy my alcohol on the weekends. It's just one of those things that comes with law enforcement or whatever. If you work in a first responder capacity, everybody I know, paramedics, etc., everybody drinks. Everybody drinks. And so, yes, that makes it very hard to lose weight. What else did I try? I tried, those subscription services where they just ship you the food and then you just heat it up and whatever. Yep. didn't eat those. I'm too picky of an eater for those. Textures get to me. Things didn't taste right. I just couldn't stick to it, man. Let's just call it what it is. I couldn't stick to it. I've always been a picky eater. I don't know what to say. So anyway, so that's how I got to the glorious weight gain of 228. So my BMI was like 39. I got to the point where I was just borderline for everything, like borderline, not really borderline diabetic, but I probably was. Borderline, you know, high blood pressure, just borderline for everything, you know, cholesterol, just all that stuff. So that's when I finally got into my head that nothing was working. Like I was going through all of, and then I think back when I was like 22, 24, I did try the South Beach diet, and I did try the Zone diet, and I did try the juice cleanses, and I've gone through all of them. So anyway, so that's how I got to where I am. So tell me about you. What have you guys tried? And if you've already had the bariatric surgery, I want to be with you on this. Let's be together. Let's grow together. I just need to feel like I am not such a failure, because even after bariatric surgery, I still struggle. I'm still so freaking picky. And now it's like I'm back to how I was when I was a kid. It's like I'd rather not eat if I don't like it, if it doesn't look good, then I don't want to eat. But then that's not good either, because I need nutrition. Anyway, I'm gonna see y'all soon.